Alright, Next War Gamers, welcome back to part 2 of this How to Play Next War series. Probably something I failed to mention in the last one is that I'm probably not going to show charts and stuff. I'm using the latest, greatest, which are in kind of a playtest format, so rest assured that the results are the results. They may differ slightly from the charts you have as things have evolved, as they tend to do a little bit even from game to game. So I'm not going to show them on the video or anything. I'll just describe what's happening and talk about the results. The other thing is, and I kind of mentioned it before, a lot of the scenarios in the Next War series, advanced game scenarios in particular, have special rules that require some pre-game activities to take place. Some of that's already been done here. So the sortie reduction, allied sortie reduction, has been completed. I think the only thing that I need to do, or three things that we need to do: Naval Detection, pre-game movement for the Rock, and PRC theater weapon attacks. It's all pre-game. So I think for Naval Detection, so the special rule in Next War Taiwan is that this guy, if he starts here, automatically becomes area detected. You still roll for detection, but it cannot get any worse. So in other words, even if you roll no detection, it stays as area detected. And then the only other one that needs to be detected is this rock sag here. And then because hold on, let me get this transition going. Because I chose the Pengu Kuta main, that required the PRC to place an AMP in the inshore box here to support the 3rd Marine Brigade. Or I think that's 3rd Marine I put in there. Yep, 3rd Marine Brigade that took Pengu. Note that the inshore box here is the same one that is represented here. So these technically, that this rock sag and that PRC amp are occupying the same location from a sea movement standpoint, which only becomes important later if they're both still there. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and roll for detection on this guy. I'm actually going to pull up the chart. This is one of the charts that is in the game. And technically, it's not in the game. Well, it's in the game. It's on the map, right? So it's this naval detection chart here. It's not storms, not overcast. The at sea die roll modifier is -1, and that applies to the inshore box as well. The AWACS advantage, I believe, starts with the PRC at level. Nope, AWACS advantage is 0. That's right, because it's strategic surprise. So no air level superiority because nothing's happened yet. There is a friendly naval unit in the inshore box. The PRC AMP is there. But actually, that's the sorry, that one only applies at the sea box. This is the inshore box, so we'll skip that one. The -1 per other friendly naval unit present in the same location, so that you get the -1 for the AMP there. So we're -2. There's no USN CBN BG, obviously, and we're not in an all-sea hex adjacent to coastal hex. So we're just going to go ahead and roll that die, which you can't see because we're not on there. So as you can see, hopefully it's a 6. -2 becomes a 4. If we transition back here, a 4 is area detected, so he just remains area detected. That said, we will go ahead and roll for the AMP. Also, the rock gets a -1 and a -1 for that sag sitting there. A 7 -2 is a 5, and so the AMP remains undetected for now. I'm going to go ahead and come back here because we have the one rock sag here to detect. This is not a friendly coast, so no -2 for being within 2 hexes. Just the -2 for the other things, but an 8 -2 is a 6, so nothing there. That guy escapes detection as well. So by special rule, the other thing that needs to happen is this pre-game movement after setup, and it's different between scenarios. In this particular one, the rock player rolls 1 die, halves that, rounds it down, and he can move that many units up to their movement capability. So in this case, going to move one, be able to move one unit. I think in this case, I think I want to send these Marines down. Basically, that's 1, 2 movement points, and we're going to sit there and not occupy that port. I really don't want the port of Taipei to fall really fast, so we're going to sit there and do that. That's a pretty poor rule, but hey, you get what you get, right? So then the next step is going to be PRC theater weapon attacks. So this is the same theater weapon attack thing that would happen in the normal strike phase. It's just that pre-game, the PRC gets to conduct those. They also can conduct DF 21-26 attacks. So some of the new counters that you're going to see in second edition are these DF 21-22s. We're obviously going to take those. They kind of work like HQ/artillery. They get 2 support missions. They can fire during the strike phase. They can only fire at naval targets. So this guy is going to get a lot of incoming. I'm just going to use regular missile or cruise missile markers for that, even though they're technically not cruise missile points. Those are going to be coming in here, and those do not count against the 5 that 10 that the PRC could roll out. I think I am going to you can't see the game information display, sorry about that, but I'm going to spend let's go with all ballistic. I'm going to save the cruise missiles for later. I'm going to go 10 ballistic missile attacks, and we are going to expend those on what's going on here. There we go. The PRC the rock infrastructure. So I'm going to hit this port here with a couple, and this port here with a couple, and this port here with a couple. What's that, 6? So I'm targeting those ports. There's a specific reason. Hopefully we'll get into that later. I don't want to give away too much right now. And then I think we'll just start targeting some air bases to see if we can't knock down some of that power. Let's actually spread the love out a little bit. We'll hit these 4 air bases. So that should be 10, right? 2, 4, 6 on the ports, 4 on the air bases. So this is all pregame. It does count against the PRC missile inventory, but it takes effect, and the points go directly to the bottom line. So any points earned from destruction or collateral damage or what have you are going to go straight to the PRC BP total. So we're just going to go ahead and pause just a second while I get my chart up so that we can get the appropriate results going. There we go. So start down here in the lower left. 2 ballistic missiles. It's flat terrain. It's going to be pretty simple shot. There's not going to be any modifiers on this because nothing's going to apply. So we're looking at a 5 or less basically. I'm just going to roll twice. Boom, boom. That 1's probably going to do it. Nope. Well, the 1 is a strike 2. The 6 misses. So not quite destroyed. We'll go ahead and pull a strike 2 marker out and put it on that port. I would just like to call out the call-outs. So these are actually in this hex, but obviously since the airfield and the port could both take strike markers, you need to account for those separately, and rather than trying to jiggle them around and maneuver them in the hex, we just put these call-out boxes where that applies. So you can see there's one here for Tainan, one here for Hualien, a couple others around maybe. Just to make it easier on you, the player, for that. So we're going to slide around here. There's a couple ballistic shots here. 8's going to be nothing, but that 0 is going to toast the port. So we'll go ahead and destroy that port. And I will mark 2 VP to the VP total. So they're at 89 now. And we'll put 2 here. A 3 and a 1 is going to be enough to combine for another destroyed marker. So we'll just clone this one and drag it over. That's another 2 to the bottom line. We go to 91 points. We'll work up here. Here's 1 on the airbase. So a 5 is going to be a strike 1, which means we're going to roll collateral damage, and we can just roll that right away. There's no point in waiting because nothing else is going to affect that at the moment. So I will roll. Actually, you know what? I will wait so I don't have to go back and forth between charts, just to make my life a little easier. So I'm going to roll for this airbase. 7 is going to miss. We'll blow that missile away. We'll roll for this airbase. 4 is going to be another strike 1. Delete that. And then last final airbase, 0 is going to toast that airbase. So that was pretty darn good. That's going to be 2 points. So they're going to go to 93. Also, we're going to mark air bases captured destroyed this turn with 1. That'll affect the air superiority picture later, as we'll see when we get to that point. Now I'm going to go back through and roll collateral damage for these airbase strikes. I'm going to go in the reverse order. So this strike 1 here. Strike 1 on the airbase, you just find the strike 1 column on the collateral damage. Roll the die. A 7's too high. Moving on. And then there was a strike on this airbase. A 0 with a strike 1 on an airbase is an air point and an air mobile point, or it's not an air point, sorry, an air hit and an air mobile point hit. The rock does not start with any air mobile points, so they can ignore that. The air hit does not have an asterisk, so the rock player actually is going to choose which, let me get that up, which air unit takes that hit, and it has to come from the rock basing box, obviously, because that is where the air base is located. So I think he's going to... that's tough. I think I'm going to take an early hit on the Mirage. We'll just reduce it. Actually, scratch that. Let me undo. It can be anywhere. So I'm going to... Oh, that's the -1 Mirage, though. I don't want to do that. You know what? I'm going to choose this +1 FCK1 down here, and we're going to reduce it. And we'll go that way. Alright, and that's collateral damage from the beginning missile strikes. That is it. We're going to go into the turn, and we'll do that in the next one. I'm just going to advance it so after we get to this. So weather is chosen by the PRC player. We're going to go with clear. Initiative is set by the scenario rule. PRC actually has initiative for the first 2 turns, I believe, in strategic surprise. Yep. And so we're going to go to electronic detection. In the next one, we'll probably run through electronic detection and SOF in the next one, and then do air naval as 1, and then go to the second SOF. It depends on how we feel. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, stay tuned. Talk to you later.